RCD, really creative designers.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're Team 2. My name is Crystal Rosales.
My name is Christian Swan,
My name is Dylan Byer.
My name is Rima Hajan.
and our project is on a drone that can examine terrain.
And in the corner, that is our team logo that has all of our initials.
So the main purpose of this presentation is to create a reconnaissance drone that will be implemented with scanning technology that will be able to examine the surroundings and a specified area of someone's interest. In addition to this, reconnaissance drones are a type of drone that are mainly used for surveilling a specific area. And for example, the military use them to examine terrain and examine an area where they would probably have troops at. And to the left, you can see the real-world example of one of these drones. And to the right is sketches that Crystal has made of our hybrid drone.
Yes, since obviously the type of drone and any alterations we would like to add doesn't exist at the moment, so we had to draw it ourselves. Here is a prototype that Dylan will pass around so you guys can see. We kind of try to make it with cardboard.
So basically, the system we're using is GPR, which is ground penetrating radar. And the GPR, it uses radio waves to scan the surface and take images of the resources below. So the way our application works is the AI, it prompts the user to input what it wants the drone to scan for. Then this information is sent to the drone, and the drone scans the terrain and gathers information on the topography. And yeah, so basically this could be used in the military when they want to set up barriers for like strategic purposes and defend like the country.
And in addition to this, I would like to add on to the full number. The cost of the technology would be a maximum of $20,000, and with addition to the drone and its batteries included, it would be $5,000. So a maximum cost for manufacturing the drone would be $25,000.
So we have three things that we'd like to explore with AI. First is exploiting machine learning. We would have an AI, for example, TensorFlow, a free service, explore public databases of GPR already expanded data. So you can have a prompt. You can ask your AI to go over the data you collected, and instead of spending hours examining that data, it can be summarized to you within seconds. And secondly, we want to accumulate our own database. We want feedback from our customers, and we want our users to feel safe. They will feel safe, and they will be satisfied within our product. And thirdly, we want to offer a sufficient AI model that will be done through an app where you can control the drone and you can ask prompts like a chatbot, like ChatGPT, as many know. And
So our product is the drone, the scanner, and it also comes with an app. That this app would be able to download it on your phone, so that if you see this is the logo for the app. So when you download it, as you see, when you first go into the app, you see it's called Build Up the Scanner, and it says our slogan is to see the unseen. And it is very similar to people who have used ChatGPT. You ask the question of like what you're trying to look for, what you would like the drone, like the scanner to scan specifically for, and it would give you back that feedback after scanning the specific terrain that you would like to scan for.
In conclusion, since the maximum amount of money for manufacturing the drone would be $25,000, obviously the question to ask next is how we would get this money. Now we would propose that we would get this money through investors, and these investors can be oil companies such as Chevron and Costco, as our to examine the terrain and underground and look for resources such as oil using a hydraulic fracturing machine.
Another one would be construction companies such as Turner and Skansa, because obviously there's been times where it's happened that, let's say a construction company builds a building on a specific piece of land, and let's say there's potholes or the ground is just not stable enough. Over time, the buildings could collapse, and with the scanner and the drone, it would help detect to see whether or not the ground is stable enough for them to do that, or how long it would take for the ground to cave in, so they know, okay, maybe don't build something that they would expect to last a really, really long time.
Obviously, like I said before, the military is one of the big investors in our technology.
And any AI module that we use, we hope that they would also invest within us because we'd be publicizing their company.
And thank you. That is all. Our presentation.
All right, thank you, RCD. We'll open it to the panel of judges for questions.
In you guys' research, did you come up with like an estimated maximum or minimum depth that you think you'd be able to penetrate with the ground penetrating radar you're looking at?
Well, for range-wise, we were thinking at least 20 feet into the ground.
With potential for deeper or?
Potential for deeper, yes.
We're hoping so that when obviously as technology advances, we're hoping to possibly get people.
So this ground penetration radar, how is it usually used? Is it used on aircraft?
People roll them on the ground physically.
It looks like a lawnmower.
Yeah, that's another adaptation we had to do, is because they normally come, that's also why it also increases in price, because they normally come with wheels. So we'd have to obviously change it, take the wheels off, and maneuver it in that type of way.
And using a drone would reduce human exhaustion.
Do you know if these GPRs, like, do they emit like a lot of like sound, or like do they kind of, are they noticeable when they're like being used? Because if you're going to be using from a military standpoint, again, there was a whole concept of, you know, maybe an enemy would like acquire it. Is there any way for you to like do it like silently?
They do use radio waves, so it isn't like a machine. The only thing I can think about is if cooling the machine would create any noise. I don't think that would be a big issue.
So if, my question I guess is on weight. Do you know how heavy these normally are, and so then how large your drone might have to be to actually carry the weight?
So the maximum weight that a drone could be would be around 600 pounds, and obviously we're not going to have this drone weigh that much. So that's why we're not worried about how heavy the drone would be, because we're able to customize it to an adjustable size that will be able to carry the essential.
This is a question I actually have for the other team, but you guys have similar ideas in that I think it would be good to have. But do you know, during your guys' research, did you guys look into or find out any basically satellite equipment that actually already has similar technology, either in scanning or either like depth scanning?
I know that satellites obviously do take HD photos of our Earth every single day, but they do not scan into the ground, from at least my knowledge.
I actually also remember. Do you guys have any way of, once again, like camouflaging this drone, or like kind of making sure that it is not like spotted in its like, environment?
That is no, but the thing about this drone, when it will be used for military use, we weren't designing it and building it with the intention of it being set into combat. It's more for safety.
If they want to build a base or like a campground, specific spot, just want to make sure that like there's not going to be like any sinkhole that's going to happen overnight, or like that they're just safe in that specific spot.
Yeah,
I was thinking of landmines or something like that.
I'd like to add that a lot of its usage is it detects a lot of cracks in the ground, voids in the ground, any uncertainty in the ground.
yes, as that would prevent casualties from happening. So, like for example, if an earthquake were to happen, Firstly, that would have unseen damage into the ground. And if there was like cracks that could potentially cause a structure to collapse, then that could cause thousands of casualties, which this can prevent by spotting those.
I really like your idea. I can see how it can be more utilized for civilian use more so than military use, especially when you mentioned about building construction. Because in building construction, of course, you want a sound area that's not going to go into, an area of land that the building will not stay stabilized on. Just recently saw that in Las Vegas is sinking homes because of the way that they're using water to deter it, and this whole community is sinking. So something like what you're proposing here would be quite useful with civil engineering, with farming communities. You obviously don't want to farm, land where you're eventually going to hit an area that's going to be damaging to a crop that you're going to be sourcing. So my question is like, how high, using the weight that you said it could carry up to 600 pounds, how high do you propose this drone to be able to fly to be able to use the technology that you want incorporating to using this GPR?
Since it is scanning the ground, it wouldn't have to go that high. If anything, we would want it to get closer to the ground to better use the scanner. So if anything, like I would think 10 feet up into the air would be pretty effective space.
And this would be controlled manually, close to the source, or can this be?
That's also one thing why we like to have it on your phone is that there's some drone controllers where the phone like looks through the drone, and then the controllers are right on top. So we would like that so that you're, as the person who's like moving the drone around, can see where it is and like can still see how far it's going.
Exactly. For a second. Is there a camera on the bottom? What was the circles on the bottom? It's on the front.
The circle on the bottom is like the sensors for the scanner, and then the camera was right here.
Awesome. Sorry, that's all the time we have for questions.